explain it like I'm five. Our subject today, contribution limits. I'm just gonna leave it there because I feel like you have a lot to say. I'm gonna let you dive in.
I do. Contribution limits really often confuse people. And so I'm going to start just talking about bank accounts. And then we're going to get to and explain like I'm five analogy. And I think maybe if we go in order, it'll all become more clear. And so if you go open up a savings account or a checking account, most people understand this. Go to a bank, you open up an account, you can put cash and you can put cash out. No one ever worries about contribution limits here. If I go put in $10 or $100 or $1,000 or $1 million, that's no problem for your bank account. And actually, at one point, I did actually contribute, $2 million at once all to a bank account. I called the bank ahead of time and said, can you hold this much money? Is this going to become a problem? I don't know.
What did they say? They're like, yeah, happy to.
Exactly. They said, yeah, no problem. Yeah. And I didn't know that. I assume if it was like $1 trillion, that would probably set off some sort of alert. You get a phone call and be like, this is more money than exists right now. Mm-hmm. Where did you come up with this? But otherwise, there's no limits to bank accounts. Okay, so that's a bank account. But bank accounts only hold cash. If I go to my bank and try to deposit Apple stock, they're going to say, you can't do that. That doesn't make any sense. Banks only hold cash.
Right.
So enter a brokerage. A brokerage is like a bank. It's a big financial institution, but instead of just holding cash, they have different rules and they can hold stocks and bonds and ETFs and mutual funds and investments, right? And so I can go to a brokerage account and deposit cash, or I can deposit, stock or buy stock inside of my brokerage account. Brokerage accounts also don't have any sort of contribution limits. So I can, go to I'm a very hands-on person. So I can log on to Bank of America and click transfer from my checking account to my brokerage account with a brokerage. I have a really hard time saying that word. In elementary school, I had to go to speech therapy for my R's.
Oh.
Of which there is one in my first name. And so my first name, Jeremy, is still very hard for me to say sometimes. Jeremy. And I'm pretty good at R at this point, but brokerage is a really...
I've never noticed it.
I'm trying really hard. Every time I say brokerage, I brace for impact. I don't know why brokerage, because that the BR and then there's another R right behind it.
Right.
And Spanish R is no chance.
You're fighting for your life.
Yeah, exactly. So I can go transfer money from my checking account to my brokerage account, with Fidelity or Vanguard or Schwab. And that's no problem. I can move $1 million, no problem. I can put any amount of money in my brokerage account. And I can buy any amount of stock or mutual funds or ETFs, right? So there's no contribution limits. The problem with brokerage accounts, if there is one, is that you pay tax on the gains. And so the government looked at the behavior of Americans and said, hey, not enough people are investing money. We want them to invest money. It's good for the economy. It's good for themselves. The more money you invest for yourself in your brokerage account, the less likely you are to be a homeless old person on the streets. So as a government, we want to encourage people to put more money into their brokerage account. So let's introduce a special type of brokerage account called a Roth IRA. An IRA stands for individual retirement account. Now every time I say R, I'm worried.
Okay, individual doesn't have any R's, and you
retirement does though. That's the R.
Now
you
don't
think
anxious.
I know what word has an R? All right. So a Roth IRA stands for individual retirement account, and basically the rule is all the growth in a Roth IRA is never ever taxed again. Mm-hmm. And so it's like a brokerage account in that you can buy stocks and bonds and invest and see growth, but inside of a Roth IRA, it's never ever taxed again.
Right.
And the government said, this is a really good deal because we're not going to tax you on all this amazing growth of your investments, but we don't want billionaires just putting all their money into a Roth IRA and never paying any tax again. And so we're going to kind of put a little speed limit sign on the front of this account that says, hey, you can't contribute money faster than, for this year, it changes every year, but this year, 2025, $7,000 a year for an individual, or if you're 50 years or older, it's $8,000 a year. So basically, that's the contribution limit. On this special type of brokerage account called a Roth IRA, you can only put $7,000 in per year. And sometimes this confuses people. One, it confuses people because they conflate this one contribution limit with like any amount of investing, right? So one common question I get is, hey, what if I have more than $7,000? Can I invest $8,000 or $9,000? And the answer is, of course you can. You can put an unlimited amount of money into a regular brokerage account. That speed limit only applies to your Roth IRA. So you might have two accounts, a Roth IRA where you put $7,000 per year in, and then your regular brokerage account where you put in infinite amount of money, right?
Yep.
And the other thing that confuses people is how much money you can put in per year versus how much money is inside of it. So like, let's say I put in $7,000 last year, and then let's say I put in $7,000 this year, and then that's $14,000 total, and then it grows. Now I could have $15,000 or $16,000 in. And so let me give an analogy. Let's say you have a rabbit farm. This is the 5-year-old analogy. This is the explain like I'm 5, where maybe a 5-year-old could understand. Let's say you start a rabbit farm.
Love it.
And the government says we don't want there to be rabbits to grow too fast. So they say, hey, you can add 7 rabbits per year to your rabbit farm. So last year you put 7 rabbits in. This year you put 7 rabbits in. Once the rabbits are in the farm, they can do their little rabbit thing as much as they want.
What kind of, wait. That's not so 5-year-old. What are the rabbits doing?
Okay, that's true. Well, baby rabbits. The stork brings them. So yeah, I guess that isn't so 5-year-old, but whatever. So once they're in the rabbit farm, those rabbits can multiply as much as they want. So like you could put 7 rabbits in last year, 7 rabbits in this year, and then maybe there's 500 rabbits in, or 5,000 or 500,000. It doesn't matter. Once they're in, that's fine. It only applies to the front door. How fast you can put new baby rabbits in, right? How fast you can like add rabbits to the, not baby rabbits, but how fast you can add rabbits to. So in the real Roth IRA, like let's say I put 7,000 in last year, 7,000 in this year, and let's say my investments had like the year of their life and went up to $1 million, that's fine. And then there's one other caveat here, which is in addition to contribution limits, there are also income limits. So the government said, hey, we don't want billionaires putting in too much money, like all $1 billion. And also, you know what, while we're at it, we don't want people making $1 million a year to have access at all, because this isn't for them. It's for regular middle income people, not super $1 million earners. And so this year in 2025, if you're single, you have to make less than $150,000 in order to contribute at all, or in order to contribute the full amount. And then if you are married, you have to make less than $236,000 in order to contribute the full amount. After that amount of money, it kind of like very quickly has this like phase out period, and then you can't contribute at all. So basically, if you're over those income amounts, like how much you make, that's your modified adjusted gross income. We're way beyond expand like a 5 at this point, but you can't contribute at all. And so basically, there's this little speed limit sign that says, hey, you can only put in 7 rabbits per year. Oh, and by the way, if you're making too many rabbits already outside of this rabbit farm, you can't put in any.
Right.
And so that confuses people also, because they say, hey, okay, I put in $7,000 last year, but this year I'm not eligible because my income has gone too high. What happens to those rabbits inside of there? And the answer is they're fine. They can stay there forever. These contribution and income limits only apply to the new contributions, how much you're adding every year. Once it's in there, it's safe, it's protected forever.
Okay.
And so
the rabbits.
to answer, those basic questions: can you put more than $7,000? Can you invest more than $7,000? Yes, just not into your Roth IRA. And then what happens? What if I am restricted based on income? You can't contribute more necessarily, although there is this thing called the backdoor Roth IRA. Stay tuned for a future episode.
Noted.
But everything that's in there is already fine. So that's what it is. It's just a way to basically slow people down and squeezing too much of their money into this really cool tax break called a Roth IRA.
Okay. Yeah, we do office hours here and there, and sometimes we have people that ask questions like, when you get to the end of the year, you do your taxes, you don't necessarily even know how much your adjusted gross income will be. And, I see you generally telling people, if you're even close, don't even mess with it. Because it's just not worth it. So that's when you need to worry about it. But this is good. We broke it down. I don't know about 5. I like the rabbits.
Yeah,
but
rabbits farm. 7 rabbits per year, kids.
Yeah, busy
Never
rabbits.
Forget.
Okay, fantastic.